Alright, legends, welcome back to another review of our footy tips and footy tips predictions for round 7 coming up. So, I think I got 5 out of 9 for round 6, which wasn't very good. Got a few wrong there last week, so that was a bit of a downer. But we're going to try and predict round 7's footy tips going forward, so I've got them here ready to go. So we're starting with the blockbuster on Thursday night between Melbourne and Richmond. This one's going to be an absolute stinker. Melbourne actually looked alright against Freo on the weekend, though. They played some pretty good footy in the end. So I'm going to be interested to see how they go against the young blood of the Tigers. I don't know whether to tip a roughie in this one or not, because the Tigers have actually played some good footy the last couple of weeks. They're coming off beating the Gold Coast Suns, which I never thought was going to happen this year. But I think just the older bodies of the Demons, I just don't know if I can tip against them. So I'm going to have to tip the Ds here. And I think I'm going to tip the Ds by about 5 goals. I think they may or may not have found a bit of a groove from last week against Freo. Just there was some patches of play that they played, and I was like, oh, that's old Melbourne right there. So I'm going to go with the Ds, let's say by about 4 or 5 goals. Let's go to the Anzac Day blockbuster. Friday at 2:50 p.m. It is Collingwood versus Essendon. And this one is always a 50-50 game. Normally, I just think the Pies this time will be too good for the Bombers. I think the Pies have won the last few against the Bombers too. So if we go... Do they have previous encounters? Okay, so... the Bombers actually won last year in July. And then we had the draw. What the hell do I know then? I know nothing. And then the time before that it was a 70-point thrashing. Okay, so... Still is 50-50. What do I know? Let's say I'm going to go the Pies by 5 goals, though. I think the Pies will be too good. I think Dacos is going to run rampant. Sam Draper's not playing. He's out with his Achilles. So he's gone for the year. So Todd Goldstein will come in. I just don't know if he has the gas to go with the boys this year. He hasn't played a game this year, I don't think, Goldstein yet. So he's coming in to try and pinch here. And I hope he goes well, but... I'm going to tip the Pies. 5 goals. All right, let's go to the other Friday night game, which is the Freo Dockers and the Adelaide Crows. This is basically a 50-50 choice. Freo coming off a reasonably average performance against the Ds. If they want to play finals, they probably should have knocked the Ds off. That being said, the Crows are going to be coming away with a bit of confidence after beating the Giants. This is a really 50-50 coin. I'd love to flip a coin here to help me with my choice. I'm gonna go the Adelaide Crows. I just think that they're a bit. Their forward line's probably going to be a bit too strong. The Crows are going to get smashed in the ruck by Darcy. So as long as the mids are up and about and can sort of, you're going to have to tag either Brayshaw or Sarong too. So. Maybe Peatling goes to one of them, but I don't know. This is 50-50. I could see this going either way. I could see Freo absolutely smashing the Crows out of the middle with their 2 guns, and I could also see the Crows smashing Freo's defence, even though Freo have a bunch of good defenders as well. Yeah, it's 50-50, honestly. It's a flip of the coin. It's going to be a cracking game to watch on Friday night. I hope the conditions are good. I hope the weather is nice over there. I think it's going to be a bloody good game to watch, and I really am looking forward to... It's probably going to be Twilight night footy. Twilight night footy. I can speak English. Between those two. So I think, yeah, 50-50. It'll be a good game to watch. Crows by 10 points. I don't really know. Then we've got the Saints and the Brisbane Lions, and unfortunately for the Saints, they're billed at $2.80 to $1.44, but I think Brisbane have a bit of a point to prove after getting absolutely smashed by the Pies last week at home on their home deck in front of their home fans. They just didn't look like it at all last week after being 5-0. I think it's good for them to lose. I think Brisbane always respond well to a loss. I think they're one of those teams that can just always cop a loss on the chin and really come back and play well the next week. So I think this will be one of those weeks where they play really well. The Saints are a good squad at Marvel. They do play their home deck really, really well. But I think the Lions are just going to come out and be too good. I think I'm going to tip them by about 3 goals to beat the Saints. I'd love to see the Saints put in a pretty decent performance. So I think their fans deserve it. It would be it'd be a nice little competition, sort of evener out, or if that makes sense, if the Lions lose. Not that I want to see them lose. But then we've got what I think will be a bloodbath at the Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide versus North Melbourne. Port beating Hawthorn and Sydney at Sydney. I think their confidence is back. I think they're back and they're ready to go. It just, the way Port Adelaide operate, they always go into controversy. And for some reason, they just have this will and ability to come out of controversy and just play their best footy. They came out and dominated the Hawks for a half of footy, so much so that they just couldn't claw them all the way back. And I think that the way they played against the Swans was really good footy as well. They had some really key contributors that just didn't let the Swans get anywhere near it late, even though that if the Swans kicked straight late, they probably could have stole the game, but they didn't, and the Power have just managed to hold on. I think that last 10 minutes was probably really their only bad blemish for the game. So let's just go Port Adelaide by 10 goals plus. I think they're going to come out, and North last week against Carlton just showed us that they're not going anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately. There was signs against Adelaide earlier in the year, and then they played some good footy against the Gold Coast Suns, but geez, they're going to have to pull one out of the hat to beat Port Adelaide at home. Let's move on to the next one. It's the Giants and the Bulldogs. This is actually going to be a cracking game, and these two teams hate each other. So this is going to be a great game to watch. I love these like natural rivalries that develop over time, and from the prelim finals that these guys played, just to the players that have swapped clubs. I don't know. I just love that these two teams. These rivalries, the Geelong and Hawthorn rivalry, the showdown, Anzac Day games, and the GWS Giants versus Bulldogs are some of my favourite games to watch in AFL. I just love it. Carlton Collingwood's another one, but I love watching these random rivalries develop out of nowhere over a bunch of years. And yeah, I'm really excited for this game. Whether or not I think that the Bulldogs can get over the line in Canberra might actually work in their favour. It's always so cold in Canberra. I think the Bulldogs having that Ballarat background might help them out a little bit. But I think the Giants should respond after a pretty woeful performance against the Adelaide Crows. In really tough conditions, I will concede that they were tough conditions. Maybe when I was at home watching that game, I was looking outside going, it's not that windy out here, it's not that bad, it's not that rainy, but it might have been at the Adelaide Oval. So, and I wasn't there, but that game was so bad to watch. I'm going to go the Giants by 2 goals. I expect that to be one of the games of the round. We're going to go to the Suns and the Sydney Swans. Both teams coming off a loss. I'm actually going to tip the Sydney Swans here, and I think that the reason that the Swans are going to win is the Suns, I think, might be just a little bit rattled after their loss on the weekend to the Tigers. They just didn't play good footy at Marvel Stadium. They don't like Marvel Stadium. Dimmer doesn't like Marvel Stadium. The Swans, I think, they're still a classy football club. They're still a good footy club. They've got a bunch of gun players. Even though they lost at home to Port Adelaide just have that momentum of that controversy and just people always saying, sack Ken. The players always end up playing for him. And I think that heat's probably going to come off him now for Port. So, but I expect the Swans to bounce back and have a fair good crack. I think this could be another game of the round too between these two. This should be a good game to watch. 12:45 p.m. for Adelaide people. It's right in the middle of the day. Should be a good game to watch. I'm going to tip the Swans by 2 goals over the Suns. I could be completely wrong here. I normally always am. Carlton and Geelong. Now, the odds for the Carlton game and the Geelong game are nowhere near as bad as I thought they were going to be, even though Carlton have had a win over North Melbourne and the Eagles. I'm going to go Geelong by 10 goals. Playing some really damn good footy. They're a quality side. Their midfield is still so good. Dangerfield up forward's an absolute weapon. I was so close to getting him into my Supercoach team this week. Go watch that video when that comes out. And the Hawks, $1. So the Cats, I'm going to go 4 goals, 5 goals over the Blues. And this should be another bloodbath. Marvel Stadium, Hawthorn versus the Eagles, $4 to $12.50. This should be like an 80-point thrashing for the Hawks. There should be only about 5,000 people there watching this. It's going to be brutal. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know which tips you got right in round 6, and let me know who you're tipping in round 7. I would love to hear your suggestions, and yeah, let me know if you think I'm an idiot for some of my choices. But yeah, so I'm going to go Hawks, Cats, Swans, Giants, Power, Lions, Crows, Pies, Melbourne. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys very soon. Bye for now. Peace!